Let a and b be real numbers such that this equation is satisfied. We want to find the absolute value of a minus b. For the purpose of this problem, I'm just going to assume that a is less than b, but you can just as well say that b is less than a. So it doesn't really matter. So because a is less than b, we know that 2 to the a plus 1 is less than 2 to the b plus 1. So I'm going to factor out the smaller one, which is 2 to the a plus 1. And so what I'm left with is 1 plus 2 raised to the b minus a power. Now I'm going to divide both sides by 2 to the a plus 1. When I divide by 2 to the a plus 1, I'm going to be subtracting the exponent. So it would be a plus b minus 1 over 2 minus the quantity a plus 1. When I subtract, I get b minus a minus 3 over 2. Just to simplify things, I'm just going to say let x equal b minus a. Because recall, we want the absolute value of a minus b. A minus b itself is going to be negative because I assumed that a was less than b. But b minus a is going to be positive, which is the same thing as saying the absolute value of a minus b. And I'm doing this because it just makes things look nicer. So this step is optional. So if I replace x with b minus a, I end up with this equation. And now this 2 on the denominator is really a square root. So it's really, you can think of it as like 2 raised to the x minus 3 power, and then raise that whole thing to the 1/2 power, which is the same thing as just taking the square root. Okay. And now at this point, there's no good way to solve this. So I think just plugging in numbers helps. And here I just checked x equals 3. Well, let's take a look at this. We know that 2 to the x minus 3 power is going to be an even number. Okay, when you take a square root of an even number, you're going to get an even number. And then when you multiply it by an odd number, you still get an even number. So this right side is going to be even for assuming that you have a perfect square. And the left side is always going to be odd except when x is 0. When x is 0, you get an even number. So that's kind of something to think about. But anyways, so you just try different values. So here, you check x equals 0, that doesn't work. You try x equals 1, 2. And then when you get to x equals 3, well, you have 2 cubed plus 1 is 9. Okay. And then 9 times the square root of 2 basically raised to 0, which is 1. So 9 times 1 is 9. So both sides are equal to 9. So b minus a has to be 3, which means the absolute value of a minus b is also 3. So 3 is going to be my answer.